All right, good to see folks out here this evening. Good to see the chatter. That's always nice. Got a good community going on here. All right, so if you can please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Bright-Cruz,
Here.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski,
Here.
Councilmember Albritton,
Present.
Councilmember Hartman,
Here.
Councilmember Jablonski. We have a quorum.
Do I have a motion to excuse Councilmember Jablonski?
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, if you please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Albritton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hartman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski,
Yes.
Mayor Bright-Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great.
Guess that makes the meeting shorter.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great, thank you. Public comment.
We have three. Mayor. First one is Lisa Sharon. Second, Lori Parrish. Third, Newell Hollingsworth. And the final speaker tonight is John Garotti.
Great.
Lisa, you're up.
Lisa Sharon, 5960 Southwest 172nd Avenue. Good evening, Mayor Steve.
Good evening. Good to see you.
Russell, good to see you. Town council members, hi. I just wanted to come in person and say thank you and express my gratitude for helping me out with my trees. I think it's kind of like they knew they were safe and now they're flourishing. And I just can't thank you again. And also, too, I just needed some guidance. I took a look this morning with respect to the corrective deed, and I noticed that my neighbor, I think it was sometime in 2023, his has been recorded on the appraiser website, and mine has not. So I don't know, because he's dealing with George with PHI, and I'm owner-builder. So I'm not sure if there's something that I'm missing or there's something that I should be doing in order for it to be recorded.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that process. I don't know if there's anywhere. I would say we'll look into it and we'll get back to you on that. Okay. I'm not aware of anything, but let's make sure.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And lastly, I have a little bit of time on my hands, and I'd love to be of service if I could. So I don't know if there's a specific person that, you have my information to reach out, and maybe there would be a fit with my skill sets.
Good. Awesome.
Nice. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Lori, did you want public comment or number 8? No worries. Oh, okay. Newell Hollingsworth, followed by John Garotti, and then now the final speaker is Debbie Green.
Newell Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. I'd like to thank our Mayor, Steve, for letting me know that the trail signs have been put up on Griffin Road at 193rd Lane. And so now that can be removed from the orphan list because it is now taken. I want to thank Steve very much for doing that and the rest of the council for supporting that. And hopefully we'll never see another incident like we had out at 198th again, where the animals are killed and people are injured. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
John? Yeah. And then final speaker, Debbie Green.
All right. Good evening, council, mayor. How you guys doing? It's a long day today, Steve. You and I were all day here, huh? All right. What do I got? So it's been eventful. The campaign trail. You meet residents, you meet neighbors, you talk about all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of different topics I could talk about tonight, but one of the most important ones I want to talk about is the very successful meeting we had on July 3rd of all days, the day before our country's independence, with the property appraiser's office. It was supposed to be a smaller private type of meeting, but you know what? It ended up to be very, very positive and very informative. A few residents showed up. Our mayor was there. The property appraiser, Marty Keir, came out and welcomed the public to address their concerns. What I gathered from it meeting with Mr. Behringer after the fact on a couple of other residents' issues with questions, because I got a little bit too much free time on my hands, but what are you going to do? I like helping. That's my new thing I do. What I see is a disconnection. So they're using, in my opinion, a couple of antiquated processes. We don't have any technology. There's no application, the website. It's a renewal card. I mean, I get it, right? A tax exemption, I'm sorry, an agricultural exemption can be a process where, you know, some people will use it to not do the right thing and commit fraud and all sorts of stuff. But what I gathered from folks that are not doing those kind of things is the fact that there's no direct answers. We saw a process, the mayor can probably attest in his own way. There's a couple things they're not doing, and hopefully if we establish that agricultural department, along with you guys' input, Mr. Poliakoff was there, we can make this an easier process, especially for a new resident or for that senior resident that's had agricultural exemption so long, they just might not be doing exactly what should be doing. But there was an issue. I'm going to tell you, there's those inspections will be recorded from now on. They actually agreed and said, you know what, you can videotape the inspection. They were nice enough to say, hey, give us the courtesy. We don't have to give them a courtesy, but you know what? That communication was awesome. We really are going to go places with that. I got 30 seconds left, so I got to keep rambling. Today's code hearing was very special. It's very interesting. I saw a man in tears, which shouldn't have been. Mr. Cormier was falling apart. And I also saw a resident that can't use his property. And you know, as a council, as a municipal government, I think the onus, that's you guys' favorite word, the onus lies on you. Why? Neither can do either. Neither can accomplish what they want to do in their business and their home. 210 Terrace, again, just John Garatti's opinion. If we're going to do something, 10 seconds, that's all I ask for. If we're going to do something on US 27, let's consider 210 Terrace to be light industrial.
Great.
And have the
Thank you.
residents' input. Thank you.
Abby, you're last.
Debbie Green, 5201 Southwest 199th. So I just wanted to make everyone aware that in Miramar, they're going to be showing a premiere of, it's a documentary, hold on, I just lost that. It's a documentary that was produced by NBC6 in Telemundo. It's one of our residents Southwest Ranches, Miriam Masihi, who has done several specials, and she's actually done on NBC6. They had a half-hour special on recycling and reusing. But so there's going to be a premiere. It's called Lessons from the Jungle, and it'll be aired at the Miramar City Hall Commission Chambers. It's this Saturday at 5 p.m. Afterwards, there's going to be a panel and questions and answers, and input from the participants. And if anyone is interested, I have the QR code. The tickets are free, so anyone here, if you have any interest, the tickets are free. Please come on out. I just think it's so important that even though each of the cities is doing what they feel is in the best interest of each city, that in the end we have the same goal. We don't want incineration. And so right now, Miramar, their biggest fight is the Miami-Dade incinerators, which would be right at the edge of Miramar, which is not too far from us. So we don't want them there either. So it's the same fight. We don't want them in Miami-Dade. We don't want them in Broward County. So I think it's just one of those where we all need to, in the end, we need to work together and support each other. I would ask, only because I didn't get to speak last time because the item didn't get a second, that at some point maybe we can look at the resolution. It's a resolution that you all are putting forward, so I would think you could make a resolution that is in the best interest of the town of Southwest Ranches. If you think it's $25,000, you think it's $0. If you think there needs to be some kind of indemnity or some kind of a clause in there that protects the town in whatever way, you can make a resolution that you feel is in the best interest of the town. But we're also showing support for our surrounding cities. Because in the end, you pass your resolution. If Miramar doesn't want to accept it, that's on them. But I think our town needs to do what we can do and put our hands out to help them. And I'm putting in the back of the room in case anybody is trying to figure out, what they can do today to help get the word out and to the people sitting at the executive committee or Broward County commissioners, and what they can do to help, to put in everyone's ear to stop the incinerator. So I'm putting in the back of the room for anyone who hasn't done so and is looking for how they can help. It lists in there a lot of the emails and some verbiage that you can put. Of course, you make them your own words, but it just kind of gives you a head start. And if you're looking for ways to volunteer, the Zero Waste Broward Task Force is an amazing opportunity, and we absolutely need as many people as possible, and it's something that's not only to benefit the town of Southwest Ranches, but all of Broward County.
Great, thank you. Very good. We have any board reports this evening? Seeing none, council member comments.
I'll go.
All right.
Hi, folks. David Kaczynski, District 4. Thank everybody for coming out in this very short meeting. It's going to be short tonight. I received an email from one of our residents on 210 Terrace. I'm going to read parts of it. I'm trying to isolate so the name doesn't come up. The email says, I wanted to share my gratitude and my appreciation to the Davie Police Department for their service on Saturday night. This means last Saturday night. Around 9:30 on Saturday night, two males broke into my property using bolt cutters and loaded their car up with roughly $10,000 in small equipment. I spotted the robbers on my cameras and notified Davie Police immediately. Sergeant Lambert and his team, led by Officer Reese, sprung into action and had multiple police cars blocking the north side and the south side of 210 Terrace within 10 to 15 minutes. They brought in the K-9 unit and a helicopter overhead. They were able to trap the thieves in and bring them into custody. Now, I was talking around on this. One of the suspects, I'm going to use that word, one of the suspects got his car stuck. Jumped out of the car, starts running, jumps over a fence. Officer Reese tackles the guy. And this resident says a big thank you to the Davie Police, as this was the best police work I have ever seen. Unbelievable. I want to thank Davie Police. Thank you. Good job, guys. That wraps up my comments. Thanks.
Great, thanks for sharing that.
I'll be super brief. I just want to make a quick announcement. We have a new addition to the family.
Hey.
My daughter Dawn and her husband Michael Font gave birth to a bouncing baby boy, 6 pounds, 14 ounces, about a month early from the plan, and healthy, happy, 10 fingers, 10 toes, perfect kid. So thank you.
Awesome stuff.
Mayor, I'll be
Man,
brief, but
Jim,
not.
try and top those two.
No,
Go ahead, go for it,
I
buddy.
can't be that short, real quick. I just want to say thank you to all our advisory boards here and to the Broward League of Cities, the South Florida Regional Planning Council, and the Broward Water Advisory Board for taking the summer off. I got to spend a little time with the wife, took her on a little vacation, and she's happy with me now. So, it was a good time. I would like to comment also on the hearing today. I want to thank the town and the residents for putting their faith in this new magistrate. I think he handled it excellent, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what comes out. I think it was a great meeting. All right. I'd like to ask the council and the town staff if there is a way that we could have a proclamation to honor 2 of our residents here from Southwest Ranches and 3 horses that are going to the Olympics. We are actually being represented by 2 young ladies and 3 horses. Now, I don't know how you put proclamation for the horses, but is there some way that we could do that and recognize them?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we have a consensus to do that, so if we can pull it together.
Yes,
We'll have it on the next
including the horses.
Right.
Including the horses.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I don't know who the horses are, okay?
find out.
We'd have to find out who the horses are, right. But yeah, I'd really like that. I was absolutely amazed to find out that we had residents from here. That's a lot of hard work to get to the Olympics. It's not something given out, So thank you for that, and looking forward to that resolution. And thank you to the residents.
Very good. Thank you, Jim.
Good job.
All right. I will be brief, but probably not as brief as the other three. So, a few things. I wanted to also thank Marty for coming out. Marty Kier is doing an amazing job, and he came out here with his staff and talked through the agricultural issues, and I think we all learned things. I think we all saw some ways that we could be improved, and Marty asked some tough questions of his staff, and they did a great job of answering those and recognizing some ways that they can make improvements. So I thought it was a really great meeting, and really appreciate Marty and his willingness to come out here and interact with the residents. He was fantastic, so thanks to him. I did want to mention a note from last meeting, and I was very disappointed when the item came up about Miramar. And Bob, I do appreciate you making the motion on that to get us started, but I was very disappointed that there was not a second to continue the conversation. And I want to go back and tell you why. I've been going to these meetings, these SWA meetings, since the start, which was last year, and interacting with these folks that are on the committee from all the different cities, and working with them to try and build a coalition for opposing the incinerator. We've had great resident support for that, both here and at the meetings themselves. I'll tell you that we get the representation from Southwest Ranches is greater than any other municipality that's there, without a doubt. Most times we are half or more of the speakers that get up during public comment. So we are doing a fantastic job out there, and we're making a lot of progress on building that coalition. And one of the things that one of the other members of that coalition, Miramar, wanted us to do was to consider that item that was on for last meeting. And I made it clear when I brought it up that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with everything the way it was, the amount and the wording, both of them I was not comfortable with. But I thought that out of respect for that other municipality, out of the respect, frankly, that I've put into it and that our residents have put into it, and that this is probably the single most important item that I hear about when I go and talk to the residents, that there should have been a second on that so that we could discuss it. Discuss it. You know, it may have even gotten voted down, but to not discuss it was, I personally felt, a poor move and frankly a sign of disrespect for all the work that we've all put into it. So we'll see where that goes going forward. But you know, I've been disappointed in Miramar. I went out there. Miramar was one of the first, when this first came up for the first incinerator, for the incinerator next to us, or potential, obviously. We're working to make sure that doesn't happen. But I went over to Miramar, and they were kind enough to give me a hearing, which about half the municipalities did not do that, so I give them that. But when I was there, they brought, you know, the mayor, almost their full commission, and a lot of their staff was there, so they certainly took it seriously. But at the end of the day, they were very non-committal. I was disappointed in that. But obviously, the world has changed for them. They now are at front and center on lead because they've got a different incinerator issue coming from Miami-Dade County. But I thought this was an opportunity for us to show that we could be better than that. And I believe Southwest Ranches is better than that. And so we'll see where that goes. And once again, I'll reiterate, I'm certainly not saying the way it comes to you is the way it should be, because I'm not comfortable with it that way. But I will say that it deserves a conversation. It deserves a conversation. So I'll leave it there.
How do we bring that back at the next meeting?
I set the agenda, so I can do that.
Okay, great. Please do.
Okay. And then lastly, I just wanted to reinforce what Debbie had mentioned earlier. I will be there Saturday night. I'm really looking forward to this movie that's going to be there in Miramar. The tickets are free. I've got the QR code. Debbie has the QR code. So I would encourage you to do it and be there. I think it's a great opportunity to once again build the coalition and build the support for letting everyone know that this is not the direction we want to go. And I think it's going to be a great, it sounds like this is going to be a really beneficial presentation. And it's extra special, actually, that a resident of Southwest Ranches has put it together. So it's going to be great. Encourage everybody to try and come out there and just register ahead of time. It's free. All right.
Mayor, are you buying popcorn and sodas for everybody? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Jim, you tracked me down.
I
will
got
get
you
the
again.
popcorn.
Yes, sir.
I will commit to that. All right, awesome. Okay, any legal comments tonight? No legal comments. Any administrative comments?
Yeah, I have a few.
Great, thank you.
Keith wants me to be quiet so we can get out of here. I do want to just kind of bring up a few things, and then I would also like to introduce the next item when we get to item 8. So just a couple things, Mayor, Council, and the residents here tonight. Just wanted to announce that working with our Public Safety and Traffic Committee, we devised basically an enhanced police detail plan that will start in effect tomorrow. So that plan will provide for an additional officer to provide enhanced traffic enforcement and patrol within a specific town council district, and that will be 7 days a week, a different district every single day. I don't want to get into too much of the particulars of it obviously for certain reasons, but I just wanted to put you on notice that it starts tomorrow. Okay?
Great.
Also working on setting up a future meeting where representatives from FP&L, Comcast, and AT&T will come out and explain to the residents the hardening project that FP&L is undertaking and address some of the restoration issues and deficiencies that customers have pointed out and their plans to address those in the future. So working on that.
If I can just add to that, this has been coming up over the last several weeks and really last couple of months. I just want to let folks know that Russell has been working diligently to get this set up, and it's just been very hard to track down the other individuals. So Russell, I appreciate your work on it.
Thank you.
Certainly it wasn't it was top of mind, and I know you've been working on it, so thanks for getting it in place.
Thank you. And then lastly, Waste Management reported to us today that today's recycling route was incomplete. They finished the solid waste route, but the recycling route was not completed, which affects the area in Sunshine Ranches. They'll be out there tomorrow morning to complete the route, so if anybody in Sunshine Ranches is listening or here tonight, please leave your cans out. They'll be picked up in the morning. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Russell. All right, do you want to introduce the next item?
Okay. So, yes. Dan.
Item number 8 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, entering into a cooperative purchasing agreement, with Bergeron Emergency Services, Inc., based on the Town of Davies agreement to provide emergency debris sites to accept storm-related vegetative debris, extending the cooperative agreement for disaster debris management and removal services with Bergeron Emergency Services for an additional year, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to enter into an agreement and providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion on?
Second.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to provide some background on this. So basically, the town of Southwest Ranches approved resolution number 2021-084, which was a cooperative agreement based on a 2017 agreement that the town of Davie had with Bergeron for debris removal services. So in that agreement with Davie from 2017, it established rates for right-of-way debris removal and also disposal. In preparation for the 2024 storm season, our staff met with Mr. Bergeron, and Mr. Bergeron advised that due to the nature of current conditions, and I'll explain a little bit more, he basically could not honor the rates from the 2017 agreement for disposal, and that centered around Broward County's decision not to allow incineration on his property anymore. So for final disposal, he could not incinerate the vegetative debris and reduce it down and send it out for final disposal. So that was going to severely impact his costs, and potentially could cost him money as opposed to making money at all. So we were advised that we could piggyback off of a City of Plantation agreement for TDMS, which is a temporary debris management site. So we looked into doing that, but we wanted to benchmark that agreement against other cities' agreements for TDMS, for temporary debris management of sites, and with other haulers. In our research, we found that the town of Davie had a cooperative agreement that was approved in 2019 for TDMS at a rate of $18.50 per cubic yard. Exhibit A in the backup for this particular item is that 2019 agreement with the town of Davie. What we also did in the interim was we have a new procurement officer that has been employed by the town, and she comes with great experience, and she advised that what we should do is create a linkage document. So Exhibit B that's in the backup now and was updated in the amended agenda is basically a linkage document that commits Bergeron, and he's agreed. We met with him the other day. He was very complimentary and very gracious in meeting with us. He's in that linkage document, he's agreeing to the 2017, basically the 2019 resolution that we approved, the rates for right-of-way debris retrieval from the right-of-way, and also the 2019 agreement with Davie for the TDMS, the 1850 per cubic yard. So let me just go through the whole thing, and then I'll answer any questions.
Well, Russell, the only thing I'm concerned about is we all know what you're talking about in terms of right-of-way debris removal, but I don't think the public has a clue.
Okay. So right-of-way debris removal, if we have a hurricane and there's trees that get knocked down and get put, and residents bring it out to the right-of-way, to the street, essentially, this allows Bergeron to come and clear the streets, basically. And for us, yeah, so we have to have an agreement in place with the debris hauler, the way we do it, and we have to make sure that it's monitored and everything else. By doing that, the town, if there's a presidential declaration, the town is entitled to be reimbursed for those costs.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. So, so just to go back to Exhibit B, what Exhibit B seeks to do, as I said, is it's a linkage document that commits Bergeron to honor the right-of-way hauling rates from the 2021 Town of Southwest Ranches Cooperative Agreement. It clarifies the initial contract period, which is set to expire on August 29th of this year, but also establishes a provision for an extension period. And it also clarifies something that was brought to our attention very late, in that the Town of Davie agreement from 2019 lists a couple of different temporary debris management sites, TDMS sites. One of those sites in the documentation is listed as, in one area it's listed as 201st Terrace, in another place it's listed as 201st Street, and another place it's listed as 210th Terrace. The actual location is 210th Terrace. But we have to remember, that's Town of Davie's document. We can't amend that document, so we're just clarifying in this linkage document that it really was intended to be 210th Terrace, but it really is irrelevant because Mr. Bergeron has committed to us that where he intends to utilize the TDMS site will be the site that he owns on US 27 and, between Sterling and Griffin, essentially. So that will be the sole site, which is the US 27 and Sterling site. And I want to also be very clear about something. So what we're looking to do here is basically establish an agreement so that we have a TDMS site. It will, again, I just want to reiterate this, it will hold to the 2019 rates for debris hauling from the right-of-way, which was established from Davie back from 2017. So those rates are really, they're good rates. But I want to be very clear that what we're committing to from staff is that after this hurricane season, we're going to go out and do a whole new procurement so we get all new rates, go out to the market, see what's available out there, get the most competitive rate from all the different debris haulers, and evaluate from that and make a recommendation to the town council. So we will do that in January, February of early next year.
And that's because the Davie contract expires when?
Well, it expires in August of this year, but it has a provision for renewal. If it wanted to be exercised, that we would obviously bring back to the council if we were going to do that.
And it's also because legally we're picking and choosing from a lot of different areas now, and it's much cleaner when we turn it over to FEMA in the hopeful non-event of a storm to give them one document, because they will audit this, and then they'll start jumping around to all the places that we're piggybacking off of. So it's really needed for the town after this season.
Just like the 2017 rates.
I'm sure they'll commit to that.
So that's all I have, Mayor. If I'll field any questions that you may have or the.
Very good. Is there any questions from the council to Russell or, all right?
Not to Russell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to Russell.
Right. Oh,
I have a question, Mr. Bergeron.
right. Go ahead. Would you be willing to speak and answer some questions? Great. Before you get to the question, I just want to thank you for coming out, and I thank you for the partnership that the Bergeron families have had with the ranches for many years.
Yes, sir.
You've been great partners, so thank you.
Well, I want to thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council, staff. Really enjoyed working with your staff. They really got it together.
Awesome.
You know, like Councilman Hartman said, love them 2017 rates. Well, you know, you go buy an egg today and you buy one in 2017, it's a big difference. And that's just putting like in a, you know, kind of a real common sense mode. But at the same time, you know, the consideration for that haul rate, it's, you won't get that. But the thing with the dump site is when the Broward County made a burn moratorium, which y'all were out here when 17 and all that smoke everywhere and everybody was going, you know.
Yeah.
When they did that, I think it was the right thing for them to do. But then you instead of 3% of the waste that's hauled to the site to be taken to the dump, the ash, like you were talking about earlier, now you have a 25% to dispose of somewhere. So you have to logistically find these ranchers and stuff that are up north, you know, probably around the Highway 70 line, the Adams Ranch, MacArthur's up there, where they can take and spread 6 inches over their property. I mean, clean vegetative debris only. You know what I mean? But so I think it's a really good thing. That rate's been in place. You can't really get a rate, or I can't even get a rate. They won't give me one, Waste Management, because they can't take the trucks in there and get them. The whole process slows down to a point where you get a trucker gets one load a day, he can't feed his family, and he leaves. So, you know, I really want to praise y'all's staff for getting me in here and us going through everything so quickly. And I look forward to any other questions you all may have in any way.
Great. Thank you. David?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bergeron, and I want to thank you as well for your family's commitment to our town over the years. It's been a very good working relationship. I'm sympathetic to your problem with the additional cost, and I have a suggestion. I don't know if it's feasible. Is there a way that our residents would be able to pick up some of that clean vegetative debris for their own properties here after a hurricane, something like that? It's just an idea that occurred to me. Mm-hmm. It would lower your costs of processing it, and it would help our residents. Just
right.
Thanks. Thank you.
So, Vice Mayor, to answer that question, if debris were to come into the site that was from Publix on Volunteer Road over there, or a private person that's doing, you know, things like that, the debris like that is not FEMA regulated. There's no. It's just, yeah, I'll accept it in there, and it goes into a different area of the complete dump, and it has nothing to do with anything to do with FEMA. Yes, that stuff would be available, that people could come in their trailers or pickup trucks and things of that nature, or whatever they might have to get some mulch. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Any other council comments, questions? Seeing none. I'm just going to open up for the public here for a minute. Is there any public comment?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Griffin, excuse me, Mr. Bergeron, are you familiar with Mr. Griffin, Todd Griffin?
Hey,
Okay.
Jim.
Have
Jim,
you ever
Jim.
talked to him about?
Hey, Jim, it's public comment. not
Okay,
back
all
and
right.
forth, okay?
We'll leave it to that. But Mr. Griffin and his fellow sod farmers are in desperate need of all the waste you can come up with, whether it's ground or unground. Plus, he has a sign on US 27 that says so. I sent you all a letter today explaining the fact that we could get rid of Broward and Dade counties' yard waste very easily with all those sod farmers. Their muck level is like 5 feet below where it should be. I mean, and you look at the amount of territory you've got up in that country, you'd create so many jobs. You'd help the sod farmer out. His property values would go up immensely because it's valued on whatever it yields. So if it's a tomato patch, that land that grows the tomato is worth X amount of money. But the sod We're running out of places to grow sod. You want everything green? When you build a house, you insist upon sod. If there's no sod, that's going to put a dampener on things. So anyway, Mr. Griffin is also a subcontractor for other emergency providers up in the West Palm Beach area. And he does such a good job. Even the incinerator guy, who can't develop enough BTUs, okay, has to burn tires instead of yard waste. He sends it to Mr. Griffin. So, we're talking about a potentially super good deal. I know an idea of some of the prices he threw out to me, but $18 and what he's talking about, we're talking about big savings. Plus, we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do with the zero waste initiative. All we got to do is add a permit to his property to add the food waste in there, which we can get a guy to work on that, and it's a good deal. So, Mr. Bergeron, if you would, maybe explore that and add it in there. And it seems like the
Thank you.
EPA endorses the idea
Jim.
of burning
Great.
for a fire curtain, and I didn't think we wanted
Jim.
any more fires.
Thank you.
Right.
Any other public comment? Yeah.
Lori, the mic might be turned off.
It looks like so.
I think it's
Turned off?
No, I think it's.
Is it on? Okay. I have two questions. First of all, I asked one of Keith and I forgot the other one. Do we have some kind of performance standard? Because our brush pile wasn't picked up. It was almost 4 months after the hurricane. And it cost us $750 to put some dirt and the sod back down on your swale. But anyway, in front of our house. But that's one. And the other thing is, I like David's idea, but as somebody who gardens a lot, there's a difference between palm fronds and softwoods like black olives and oak trees or boshofias. If you have oak and boshofia, those are hardwood, and it makes the best mulch, and you can save a fortune, plus it's good for the environment spreading around your gardens. So what I was wondering if maybe we could do, because I assume when you dump it, you've got somebody with a mulcher. I don't know if I had a boshovia tree cut out when we first moved here, and the company I hired, Poppers, had one that attached to the back. But like for somebody like me, if I could separate the not so great debris from the hardwood debris, and you had somebody just going down the streets who'd mulch it and dump it in our driveways, that'd solve a lot of problems. But I don't know if that's possible. But I thought David's idea was a good one. I wouldn't want the palm fronds and the black olives, but the oaks and boshofias, we don't have but the oak trees, I'd hate to lose them, but I wouldn't mind having that mulch because it's hardwood. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lori.
Debbie Green, 5201 Southwest 199. I know that the burning is, I guess they can't burn now because Broward County doesn't allow burning. But I guess we just need to make sure that burning is just 100% prohibited, because Broward County may say no today, and who knows what they say tomorrow. I think we need to find a better solution than burning or landfilling. Through the Zero Waste Broward Task Force, we found that there's many other options to disposing of debris other than the incineration, waste to energy, or landfilling. And perhaps the Bergeron services, they can look to those other options, like grinding for mulch or composting or other reuse, such as what Jim said, what Lori said, just as other ways of reusing instead of just grinding to go to incineration or to landfills. And just it was like over, a month or 2 months ago that Mr. Bergeron stood up here and said they committed that there would be no incinerator kind of facilities, a staging area for incinerator kind of facilities on that land in Southwest Ranches. So I just think it's important. It's just odd to me that was part of, I understand it was the underlying contract from 2017 from Davy. But I just think it's important that we just make sure that there is absolutely no possible use of incineration under this agreement.
Great. Thank you.
I almost forgot. Love you, Mommy. I always got to say hi to my wife. Without her, this isn't possible. I know I sound crazy, but it's okay. Want to thank Mr. Bergeron. When I drive back from wherever I'm at in US 27 and I see that farm, I know I'm home. I know that ranch very well. One of the issues this morning was composting. So if this vegetative debris, I mean, if he can answer later, or you guys can answer, is that compostable? Can he or whoever it ends up or wherever it ends up, can it be composted? It makes the best mulch, I'm sorry. And it comes from here. If we can pick up our own stuff, reuse it, that's the whole idea, is the whole zero waste topic. They've always done a good job with anything they've done, that company there. I've only been here 22 years, but Bergeron's a reputable company in anything they do. I mean, we all have our flaws, but I haven't seen one yet from you guys. I mean, I like the hat. I would like to one day take a tour of that amazing farm, but to ditto on Jim's topic with the soil, one of my biggest campaign supporters is a sod farm. They are running out of topsoil. So that sod farm that he's talking about wants to enter into the composting per se and, reducing the landfills. But I don't want to get too much off topic off of this exact ordinance item, but anything that we can do to promote controlling a burn, incinerating, none of that is off the, we don't need any of that. So as long as any of this vegetative material doesn't get burned, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other public comment? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think the burning is the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, years ago you were able to do it out here, but those days are long, long gone. And to refurbish farms, like the Todd gentleman he was talking about, I actually had a conference call with him today, and I'll be meeting him at his farm next week. And then there's other people. It just depends on the severity of the storm to how much debris you're going to have, to how much each person can take, and can they really take what they say they can take. So I got to do my logistical background and go to each one of these farms that it's going to go to, and it's going to be composted, or it's going to be used to fill in low areas from where cattle have worn out stuff and things of that nature for farmers. The gentleman, Todd, that he was talking about, I'll be meeting with him next week on his sod farm, and then I'll be meeting some other cattle farmers too, because they need it. They got low-lying areas that hold water from cattle and stuff running through them. Nothing's going to get burned. It's all going to be 100% regenerated back into the soil of the Florida, wherever I can get it to do that. Never burned, none. Not even if it's in Broward County. Care if it's in Osceola County. It's not going to be burned. It's going to be recycled into
Dirt.
Exactly. Yep. It's going to be turned back into where it came from. Right. Well, I just want to let everybody know that,
Awesome.
and that's a guarantee for me. And if Russell needs to put it in writing or something, I'm willing to sign it because I put my word on it. I'm done. That's So y'all have a good night, and I really appreciate y'all's time.
Just a quick, great.
Any questions from y'all before
Maybe.
No, I think that was good because I think people weren't clear that
Yeah.
you're recycling this for agricultural purposes, 100%. And actually, if we could put a no burn in the contract, that way if Broward County decides to change their mind, we're going in the direction we committed to. Does that make sense, Russell?
100%. I would just, and if, this agreement only contemplates this year, and I feel more comfortable doing something like that. I just would want to caution, something Mr. Bergeron said, I think is 100% relative to this discussion. We don't know the severity of the storm we may have. We may have a storm that barrels through the entire state, and you're talking about millions and millions of cubic yards of vegetative debris, maybe more so than what the entire state knows what to do with. So to handcuff somebody right now, FEMA may make a condition that says, you have to do something different with it. So I think his verbal commitment not to do something, we know that the county's not doing anything. I can tell you, and what I was going to say when it got back to me is, as we go out to procure this service in the future, town staff knows what our residents want. We will commit to incorporating our zero waste initiatives and what we want as a zero waste community into that RFP that we're going to let out, so that those things are, we're beholden to those things. But I don't know that just a word of caution, I don't know that we should tie this particular contract this year, because we just don't know what's happening in the future.
Okay, so then, based on Junior's word and the short duration of the contract, I'm comfortable with that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much.
Yep. Let me, just one other thought
Yes.
comes to mind. The comment was made that, so when a big storm like that comes through, the town as a whole, during their normal pickup, we're used to having debris like that picked up every 2 weeks. That doesn't happen after a big storm because the volume is huge. A truck can get filled up after just one or two properties, and it can be full. So I'm wondering if there's any way that we can, and I don't know if this is even possible, communicate when those pickups are going to be so that people can bring stuff out front closer to when the pickup time is, as opposed to bringing it out and then having it sit there for several weeks, or even, as I recall last time, and I could be wrong, I think there was like 3 sweeps of the town after the big storm,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so one sweep was actually very quick, but not everybody could get their stuff out there. I know I only got maybe a third of my stuff out there, and then the other 2/3 did sit there for quite a while before the second sweep came, and then the third sweep was really just picking up the leftovers.
Yes, sir.
And any thoughts on that communication? Is that possible? Because I know there's a lot of dependencies there.
That's up to the applicant and the client, which is the Southwest Ranches, the town. It's up to the Public Works Director to work solidly with, hand in hand with the contractor, which I'm the last guy on the totem pole. You got a monitoring firm that's above me, and then you got, you got your Public Works Directors, and then you got your administrators. So I think,
Yeah, Mayor, I was going to address that actually as well. I think-
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember your comments from last year. I
Yeah.
remember you made it a very, it was a point of our conversation. And so I think Rod did a great job last year with the way that we coordinated it. We did a first pass to make sure that we got the roads cleared and traffic can traverse throughout the communities. We gave people an opportunity, and there was a delay. It was thoughtfully done. It was to give people an opportunity to cut down their trees, to get everybody's scrambling to get something done, and you don't want to do that too soon because then people miss the opportunity. So it was a concerted effort, and we will certainly do a better job. I think where we dropped the ball as staff a little bit last time was our, inability to communicate it maybe as effectively as we could have, and that's something that we certainly, we took that lesson learned, and we'll do a better job of that.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
yeah, I think we did everybody did hold off a little bit because it's so hard when there's so much water on your property in some of these low-lying areas in Southwest Ranches. You can't get your tractor out there to get the stuff out and that quick. So once the water settles down and the clouds go away, people get more stuff out, and it may be a little bit longer, but at least they get all their stuff out.
Correct.
It's a massive amount of work. I had 40 Washingtonias come down. I'm towing them out to the road one at a time. It took me weeks to get that stuff out to the road.
But your staff and the last time we did do that, we got together collectively and the monitoring firm, and people were still bringing stuff out. And instead of doing 6 passes and getting one load here and one load there, they said, let's just let everybody get their stuff out.
Right.
Although when it comes to the life, health, and safety to the citizens that you guys are, look after, if there's a problem somewhere, life, health, and safety to y'all citizens will be my number one goal for you, period. So if there is a fire to be put out, we'll dive on it.
All right.
And then from that, we got to, try to have somewhat of a, it's a logistical thing that happens depending on the severity of the storms.
Gotcha.
If a 4 rolls through here, I mean, they'll be letting me compact construction debris on that site out there. They won't. All the rules are off then. But if a 1.5 or 2 rolls through, a little bit of stuff on the ground, and it won't be that bad, I don't think.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Keith.
Based upon what council said, what Mr. Bergeron said, I am inclined with the council approval to add a quick section 19 to this agreement. You already signed the signature pages. If you're okay with it, we'll just slide it in. It will fit pagination-wise. And all it would say is, unless directed by a superior governmental agency to the contrary, contractor shall not incinerate the storm-related vegetative debris. In the event such debris, in the event such a direction is given, the previous rate shall apply. So that does two things. It basically says he can do it if he's directed to do it by a superior governmental agency, but if he does, our prior rates apply because the rate's going up based upon the fact that he's not. So, with your acceptance of that, we'll just add that in.
So be it. I'm going to do it one way.
You're okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank
Yep.
you for your partnership. It's awesome. We love working with you all, and you've just been fantastic partners.
Appreciate it, too.
Yep.
The whole family does. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you. You
Yes.
too.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good night.
So, Mr. Mayor, I want to amend my motion to include Keith's provision.
Okay, we amended the motion, and I think, Bob, you second that?
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Agree. So we have the adjusted. All right. Any other final comments from the council? Seeing none. Yeah. Go
Just
ahead,
want to
Russell.
say one thing real quick. I want to thank Rod, our Public Works Director, Rod Lay. I want to thank Emil Lopez, our Town Financial Administrator, and our Procurement Officer, Christine Semeraro, for their help in putting this together. We were scrambling, trying to get this in place before, this meeting and for this meeting, because we don't want to go another week, because we just don't know when the
Right.
tropics are going to happen,
Right.
and so we wanted to have this agreement in place. So thank you guys for all your efforts on that. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Russell, and thanks all for pulling this together. All right, if we can please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Albritton?
Yes?
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great, thank you. We have a couple of minutes to approve. I think I'll put these both together in a single motion. The minutes from May 23rd of this year and June 13th. Do I have a motion to approve?
both.
I have a motion to approve and a
Second.
second. Awesome. Is there any additions and corrections from the council? Seeing none. Any additions, corrections from the public? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes?
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, well, we got to have this meeting last forever because Gary's not here to attend.
Yeah, so
somebody
what
jump
are we
up.
going to do now?
All right.
What are we going to do now?
Go ahead,
All
Jim.
at one time, everybody say adjourned?
There we go.
Everybody?
All right, thank you all.
Motion adjourned.
Appreciate you coming out.